And
Commissioner Wazinski. We can hear you. Apparently you can't hear us.
all right, I think somebody might need to call him. I think he's going to have to probably sign out and sign back in, maybe. You know what? Just
Can someone provide his cell phone number?
yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay, you're back
Great.
with us, Commissioner Wazinski?
Thank you.
All right, we'll mark him present.
Okay.
All right, very good. And I'm
Sunshine
sorry.
statement, Chairman.
Yes, please.
Meeting today conforms with Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, called the Open Public Meeting Act. And as per the requirements of the statute, notification of the meeting was published in the Star Ledger and Home News Tribune and filed with the clerk of Middlesex County.
Great, thank you. James Polos, do we have a recycling report?
Yes, Chairman, recycling report. Just to update everyone, there still continues to be a nationwide crisis with staffing, and our vendor is doing what they can to service the communities in the best way possible. There are delays. We had a meeting with the local recycling coordinators to explain what the situation is, and it's unfortunate, but it is a fact of life at this point, and we've seen it in other industries as well. He is working to try to get additional drivers to come in using temp services. They did recruit 5 new ones this past week. They were pretty excited about that. They ran a job fair a few weeks ago, advertised it, and no one showed up. So it's been difficult to fill the gap that's been created, but they are doing the best that they can. But again, in reality, there are some delays. Staff is staying on top of it. Our recycling inspectors and our staff are doing a great job in working with them and trying to mitigate it as best as possible.
Okay, great, thank you. The agenda says no correspondence. Is that correct, Tim?
That is correct.
It also says no old business. Is that also correct?
That is correct.
All right. Now, new business. I understand that we have posted photos to our website. Would you explain that, Tim?
Sure.
I'm going to begin screen sharing the photos.
Great. And these photos are going to be posted immediately on the website. We just wanted to give the members of the board, and then of course anyone from the public would like to look at them can certainly do so. If they go to our website, it's right on the front page. They'll see it on the first page of our website. There's a location there to click on to be able to see the photos. Just as part of the regular report, rather than just giving a verbal, we were able to obtain some photos from the project. And the first 2 photos that we're going to click through quickly are just showing some of the progress on the Cancer Center garage projects. The structural steel is underway at the Cancer Center, while cast place concrete is underway at the garage project, and you can see those taking place. In the third photo, it shows the project progress again at the Cancer Center, but this is from the north side. Gives you a pretty good visual in the area where the parking garage will connect to the Cancer Center via the pedestrian walkway, and as you know, we'll be involved with that Cancer Center as part of our project. The fourth and fifth photos show the recent crane. This was actually a pretty cool thing. If anybody saw it in New Brunswick, I don't know, it's the largest of its kind in the country. Delivered to the city of New Brunswick. I actually saw it waiting to be utilized. Pretty impressive piece of equipment. It was deployed on Somerset Street to lift large plate girders into place. And that work was completed in about 3 days, and then the crane left shortly thereafter. But anybody that got to see it operating, it was a pretty cool thing to see. The sixth photo shows the overall progress of the Valenti School construction. And I know there's often questions asked about the progress of that. You can see that the structural steel is underway and expected to be completed within the next couple of weeks. And then the last couple of photos show the progress of construction on the 3-story classroom wing, from 2 different vantage points. And you can see that they've made significant progress in getting the skeleton up to be able to complete the building.
Very nice.
That's it, Chairman.
Okay, and I will reiterate to the public that these photos are available on our website. If anybody wants to go view them, please do so. And Jim, give them the website, please.
Yeah, we'll be posting them right immediately after the immediately at the conclusion of the meeting as well.
Okay, what's the website?
They can go to the Middlesex County Gov website, and they can click on to MCI.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much. All right, Carol, resolutions? Carol? Did we lose Carol?
No, you didn't lose me. I was well into the second resolution before I realized I was sorry.
Been there.
8A, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority designating affirmative action compliance officer and determining compliance threshold. 8B, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority approving the contract to join the Cranford Cooperative Pricing System with the Township of Cranford. And 8C, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority payment of expenses.
Great, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of June 8th?
Motion, Christine.
In a second? All those in favor? Aye.
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 No one opposed? That will pass. Okay, now we're going to go to public comments on resolutions only. We will have public comment on everything later, but first, public comments on resolutions. Do we have anyone that has public comments on resolutions only? Did anybody raise their hand?
There are currently no hands.
Okay, so we will continue. Can I have a motion to approve the resolutions? Someone for motion to approve resolutions, please.
Motion, Christine.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No one opposed? The resolutions will pass. Can I have a motion for payment of vouchers?
I'll make a
Motion,
motion.
Christine.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
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 No one opposed?
Jim, I think I have to partially abstain. I'm on the bill list. This is
Okay,
Paul.
do you know which one that is, or just the one that pertains to you?
It's just the one that pertains to me.
Okay, so the record will reflect that Paul has abstained from the resolution that applies to him. All right, so we did payment of vouchers. All right, public session. We are now going into the public session. Anyone that has comments, please raise your hand, identify yourself, and you will be recognized. My friend Charlie out there tonight?
You have a hand raised. I'm going to allow to talk.
Good evening. Please identify yourself.
Good evening. You guessed correctly. It's Charlie Cradaville from New Brunswick today. Good to be with you.
Good evening, Charlie. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. Wanted to clarify if you're having a video meeting tonight or if this is an audio-only meeting.
This is an audio-only meeting.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate you sharing the link on the website to the photographs. I do see it on the website, mciauth.com. And yeah, I wanted to follow up on the crisis that was spoken about earlier with staffing for the recycling company. I also want to understand about a change in ownership. Is it true that Solterra was purchased by another company? What can you tell us about that change and what that means for the county's contract with them?
I'm going to take that one myself. So because I specifically asked about that. So yes, so Solterra was purchased, and they were it was a stock purchase, meaning that the buyer stepped into their shoes. So it wasn't something that we needed to approve or be involved in, because when you buy stock, you buy the company, and theoretically the company continues. So yes, it was purchased by a new company. Jim Polos, would you talk about the new company a little bit?
Yes, so we're still dealing directly with the same individuals who we dealt with while Solterra was the specific owner of the entity. The stock option hasn't changed. The people who we're dealing with in the county, or the requirements with the contract that they have with us to provide that level of service.
Charlie, any other questions?
Yeah, and regarding that contract, what is the length of the term? How much longer is that contract for? And, what is being done to address the issues? I know you mentioned job fairs and trying to get people hired, but specifically for Middlesex County, I know here in New Brunswick, we've had a lot of neighborhoods have, delays of a day or 2 days or even longer in getting the recycling picked up, and that's a sign of the system failing. And I wanted to ask, what specifically the county is doing. Are other vendors being considered? Are you looking at the contract in terms of if they're not meeting the terms of it, finding another vendor or finding an additional vendor? What is the MCIA doing about this? Because I know it's not just New Brunswick experiencing the issues.
Jim, do you have any comments in that regard?
Certainly. And you're correct, Charlie. It's not just New Brunswick. Some of the other communities have been affected as well. And it unfortunately is not just Middlesex County. It truly is a statewide issue and a statewide problem. In fact, we have contacted other vendors. We think that it was within our rights and certainly our obligation.
Disconnected. Bluetooth off.
Well, we thought that it was certainly, we had an obligation to explore every option possible. We contacted several competitors in the industry, and these are well-known names in the industry, to determine whether they could provide assistance and manpower, person power to assist with the problem, which ultimately we would deduct or back charge to the vendor. We haven't been able to successfully find anyone in the industry who has extra help. The word that we've gotten from every vendor that we've contacted is that they can barely keep up with what they have to do. They're experiencing the same level of delays and call-outs and personnel shortages, and the same delays in picking up materials. We've also seen that on the commercial side. I've spoken with a number of people who have these vendors doing commercial pickup of dumpsters and recycling in office buildings and those kinds of things. And they're experiencing the same problems and the same kind of delays. So in fact, one of our health inspectors, Mickey Gross, was one of our directors of health, was at a national conference a couple of weeks ago and actually indicated that it was a topic at a national solid waste conference, that this is really something that's kind of a nationwide problem. So it's not just in New Jersey and unfortunately not just in Middlesex County. So to answer your question, we're pushing as hard as we can to have the vendor do extra days. They're working Saturdays. They've been on Sundays. We know that they've been out there 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I know because I've seen them myself and so have our inspectors trying to keep up. There are still delays and likely still will be. We did get a glimmer of hope today. He said that there were 5 new drivers that they were able to somehow get involved, that there are in training right now, which is a huge bolus of extra people for them to have. And they're continuing to they've provided bonus incentives for people to sign up, signing bonuses, and every other type of financial bonus and reward that they can to try to get the people out on the road. So we have, as I said, checked with other vendors, and I would love to say that, yeah, it's, we can get other people to come in and help, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the thorough answer. I will note that, this is one serious downside of privatization when you have a private vendor in charge of the whole thing. If they have issues or changes, and they can't deliver on the contract, then we're kind of stuck. So perhaps it's time that the county start to look at staffing up and actually, participating with that staff to address this issue and serve the needs of the towns that have, agreements to get recycling done. Recycling is a really important thing, and it's a shame that, this issue has gotten worse over time, but I do appreciate the work you're doing to address it and wanted to thank you for answering my questions. I didn't hear a specific timeline update on the school project. I just want to understand if there's anything that's changed since the last meeting. I think you'd said the steel would be completed by August. Is that still the expectation?
Yes, Chairman, with your permission?
Yes, of course.
Yes, they're estimating about 2 to 3 weeks to complete the steel, Charlie, so that would take us right into just at the beginning of August.
Okay, great. Well, pleased to hear that, and thank you. Hope you're all doing well, and have a great night.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for your questions and your participation. Do we have anybody else that would like to comment? Nobody?
There are no hands.
Okay, well, that leads us to our adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor?
Christine.
All right, second, aye.
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 We are adjourned, everybody. Thank you for participating and be safe out there.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.